Hey guys, I have three of the most popular devices currently available on the market in front of me. They are all flagship devices. We have the HTC One X, the Samsung Galaxy S3, and the Sony Xperia S. In this video, I would like to take a quick look at all three of the devices. I would mainly like to focus on the design of each of the devices rather than the specifications. I will probably also talk briefly about the software and what I like and dislike about all of the devices in general. So first, let's take a quick look at the HTC One X. So in the top right hand corner we have a front facing camera, as do all three of the devices. In the top left hand corner we have the HTC logo. We have a 4.7-inch display, I believe. We have HTC's new button configuration at the bottom here. We have back, we have home, and we have the multitasking button. Some people like it, some people hate it. I'm a bit on the fence about their new button configuration. On the right hand side we have the volume rocker. So, volume up, volume down, nothing else. On the left hand side we have the micro USB charging port. We don't really have much on the bottom. You might be able to see the microphone there. On the top we have the lock unlock button, and we have the earphone jack. Now let's take a quick look at the back. As you can see, the device is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, though all of them are really. So we have the camera. I believe it's 8 megapixels, or I believe it's 8 megapixels on all three of the devices. We have the flash on the right hand side here. We have the micro SIM port here. You cannot access the back of this device. You cannot take off the back. You cannot change the battery, etc. The device also doesn't take micro SD cards, unfortunately. We have the HTC logo. We have a bit of a dock connector there. So that's pretty much it in terms of hardware for the HTC One X. It's quite a nice device. It feels good in the hand. The only thing that I dislike about holding the device is the placement of the lock unlock button. I believe that it would have been better on the side here. Now let's take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S3. I believe that this device has a 4.8-inch display, so slightly bigger than the display on the HTC One X. We have the front-facing camera in the top left-hand corner. This device has a different button configuration. We have one physical button and two capacitive buttons. We have the menu button there on the left, and on the right-hand side we have the back button. On the right-hand side of the device we have the lock-unlock power button, which I quite like. I really like the placement of that button. It's very ergonomic in my opinion. On the right hand side we have the volume rocker, volume up, volume down. You can also quite easily access that button as well. On the bottom we have the micro USB port and the microphone. I quite like the placement of the port, though it doesn't bother me either way if it's on the bottom or the left hand side really. On the top we have the earphone headphone jack, and you will also notice that you can slip in a credit card there, etc. to remove the back. So with this device you can actually access the battery and change it if it's running low on juice, or if you want to replace the battery. It's got NFC built into the battery. It's a 2100 milliamp battery from memory. I cannot remember whether this device takes a standard or a micro SIM card. It however takes micro SD cards. It is the only device of the three to take micro SD cards, and it supports them up to 64 gigabytes in size, which is pretty impressive. Most devices only support cards up to 32 gigabytes in size. So we have the flash on the left there. We have the 8 megapixel camera. We have the speaker, the Samsung logo, and that's pretty much it really. Though overall I quite like the feel of the device. It is a very big device, though it doesn't feel like you are going out of your way to press all of the buttons. They're very easy to access. And we have the Sony Xperia S. So let's take a quick look at this. We have the camera button in the top right hand corner. As per the other two devices, we have the Sony logo. I believe that this device is a 4.2 inch display, slightly smaller than the other two devices, especially when you put it next to them. And this device also has a different, or a bit of a unique button configuration. All three of them have different button configurations, which is quite interesting. You basically have this bar which lights up. You have the back button, the home button, and the menu button. And above this bar are the actual capacitive buttons which you need to touch. You know, they are pretty responsive in general. I have, however, seen a couple of devices which have been a bit defective, where you've had to tap them multiple times. Though overall, you know, it's a very unique, you know, concept. I can't think of any other device on the market which has, you know, this sort of menu structure at the bottom. Though the one thing I don't like is I find the color to be a little bit boring. It's just white. Whereas on the Sony Xperia U, it actually lights up blue. Also on the Sony Xperia U, you can change the bottom to yellow or pink or whatever, whereas you can't on this device. On the right hand side, we have a micro HDMI port. So this is one thing which you would probably like. The other two devices don't offer that. We have the volume rocker. We also have a dedicated camera button. The other two devices don't have dedicated camera buttons, though these days you can use the volume rockers to take pictures, so it's not really a big deal. On the left hand side, we have the micro USB port behind the cover. To be honest, I find the cover a little bit annoying. You know, I like to just be able to plug in the charger. I don't really have long nails, so I always have to, you know, find a credit card to open it, etc. We don't really have anything on the bottom, the microphone I suppose. On the top we have the lock button in the top left hand corner. You will probably notice that they all have different lock button placement. It's in the top right hand corner on the One X, it's on the right hand side on the S3, and it's in the top left hand corner on the Sony Xperia S. So yeah, we have the lock unlock button, we have the headphone jack. On the back we have what I presume is another 8 megapixel camera with the flash underneath it, the speaker. We have the old Sony Ericsson logo there, which I believe is probably now just the Sony logo. You know, it's got too much brand recognition for them to get rid of it really. And it says Xperia at the bottom. Now I'm not really going to focus on specifications in this video, as I said at the beginning. In terms of design, my favourite device would probably be the S3 if I'm completely honest. It has a slightly bigger screen than the HTC One X, and it's definitely got a bigger screen than the Sony Xperia S. I quite like the button configuration, the hardware button and the two capacitive buttons. I believe it's a pretty ergonomic device in terms of the placement of the lock, unlock power button and the volume control. You can access them, you know, very easily with 2 fingers. I quite like that the charger port's at the bottom. It doesn't get in the way too much, if you can see how I'm holding it. Though it doesn't get in the way on the other 2 devices either, really. Though in terms of design, I have to say the Galaxy S3 is my favourite of the 3 devices, followed by the One X, followed by the Sony Xperia S. I don't dislike the Sony Xperia S, I quite like the device overall. Though compared to these 2 devices, it's just not one of my favourites if I'm completely honest. Now let's take a quick look at the software on each device. So the battery is running low on the One X, so let's quickly take a look at this first. So we have, you know, Android ice cream sandwich on this device, with HTC Sense 4.0 on top of it. The one thing I miss about this device compared to other HTC devices I've used is the menu button, because now they obviously don't have a menu button, they have this multitasking, you know, button instead. So you sort of have to navigate into settings, which is a little annoying unless you put a shortcut, you know, a shortcut on the home screen. I have, however, installed custom ROMs on this device which allow you to change that from a multitasking button to a bit of a menu button, and to turn the home button into the multitasking button when you hold it with a long press. So let's quickly take a look and see what's on here at the moment. So we currently have Android 4.0.3 with HTC Sense 4. I currently own a device running HTC Sense 3.6. I must say that there is a lot less bloatware in HTC Sense 4. Though yeah, I'm a bit over HTC Sense if I'm completely honest. Now let's take a look at the software on the Galaxy S3. This device is also running Ice Cream Sandwich, and it's got a very nice software implementation. I can't remember, I believe it's called TouchWiz UI, Samsung's layer on top of Android. I quite like it, to be honest. I'm seriously considering this as my next device. So yeah, let's take a look at the software that's currently on it. I believe it's Android 4.0.4 from memory. And yep, I'm correct. This is currently the latest version of Android you can get. 4.0.5 isn't out yet, or it might be by the time you're watching this, or even later. And it doesn't really mention TouchWiz UI there. Though I really like the software on the Galaxy S3. I really like the widgets, I like the music application, I quite like it. You know, I find most of the included applications to be pretty practical. They're pretty practical on the HTC One X as well. And now let's take a quick look at the Sony Xperia S. I must say, in terms of software, this is my least favourite device. I'm not trying to hate on the Xperia S, though this device does not have Android Ice Cream Sandwich yet. I think it's a bit of a shame that they released it without Ice Cream Sandwich. Though let's take a look at what version of Android is currently on there. As you might be able to see, it's currently got Android 2.3.7. They are definitely releasing Ice Cream Sandwich for the device, though I don't know when it's actually going to be available. Though having said that, I quite like some of these widgets. I really like, this widget here. You just click on it and it, pops up with all of the different settings to enable Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, the backlight, etc. So it will be interesting to see what Sony's implementation of Ice Cream Sandwich is like on this device. I have already seen their, Ice Cream Sandwich implementation on other devices, such as the Xperia Raid. I wasn't, extremely impressed by it, if I'm completely honest. Though yeah, in terms of software, I think that the Samsung Galaxy S3 is the winner as well. Obviously, both of these devices are running Ice Cream Sandwich, whereas it's not available on the Xperia S yet, so it's a bit of an unfair comparison software-wise. Though in terms of the layers on top of Android, I prefer TouchWiz UI a bit more than HTC Sense. Tell me what you think of all of the devices. Do you prefer the HTC One X or the HTC One XL? Do you prefer the Samsung Galaxy S3 or the Sony Xperia S? And tell me why you prefer that device. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see any of my upcoming videos. I'm going to upload a video in the near future about the Sony Xperia S and the NFC tags, smart tags I believe that they are called. Don't forget to like this video. Thanks for watching.